Well, let's talk to Simon Hunter, who is a journalist based in Madrid. Simon, good to talk to you this lunchtime. So what more do we know about what happened?
Well, we don't know too much yet. I mean, in these cases, police in Spain, they don't tend to officially identify the victim so quickly afterwards, but police sources did very quickly tell reporters, brief reporters, as to exactly who he was. He's a wealthy Ukrainian lawyer. He was a former advisor to ex-president Viktor Yanukovych, and he was being investigated for corruption and treason in his home country. According to press reports in Spain, what we know so far is that he was shot dead at 9:15 in front of the American school. The Madrid suburb, Pozuelo de Alarcón, where that school is located, is an upscale neighborhood, and that's actually one of the most expensive schools in the whole of Spain. According to Russian media, Portnov had 4 children. I'm not sure yet exactly how many of those children are attending the school, but apparently he was about to get into a black Mercedes after having dropped off his children when 2 or maybe 3 assailants, according to reports, approached him and fired 5 shots. At least 3 of the shots, the police told reporters, hit him, one fatally in the back of the neck. The assailants are then thought to have fled to a nearby wooded area. We don't know anything about the weapon that was used yet, as the investigation is still in its early stages. Unfortunately, students were already in class. 9 o'clock is the regular time that students go into school in Spain, so they were already in class, but there was a huge amount of confusion and fear throughout the school, as you can imagine, once people realised what had happened. And the school actually issued a statement later confirming that the victim was a parent at the school.
And in terms of gun crime in Madrid, I mean, do these kind of things ever happen?
Well, I mean, bizarrely, this isn't the first crime to happen outside a school in Pozuelo. If we go back to March 2018, a man who was identified in the Spanish press as Ricardo R.M., he was a 43-year-old former gang member and a Colombian national. He was shot dead in the same neighborhood, receiving at least 10 gunshots after dropping off his children at the British Council School. And then, of course, there's a large number of Russian and Ukrainian nationals living in Spain. To give you some context, there's about 275,000 Brits who officially live in Spain. There's about 215,000 Ukrainians who are officially registered in Spain, about 135,000 Russians who are officially living here. And there have been incidents involving Russian nationals in recent years. If we go back to April 2022, a Russian tycoon called Sergei Protosenya, he was found dead in apparent suicide alongside his wife and daughter in Girona. And in February 2024, there was a big story here when a Russian pilot who had defected to Ukraine with his helicopter, he was found dead from multiple gunshot wounds in the parking lot of his apartment building near Alicante.
So I mean, this is absolutely fascinating, Simon. I had no idea that this was an issue in Spain. In terms of the neighbourhood and people living there, is there a sense that they're absolutely terrified, or is it the feeling that actually this is something isolated, it's something to do with politics in another part of the world, and it's actually not touching Spanish people apart from that?
No, I would imagine that the parents of children at such an exclusive school would be extremely concerned about an incident like this. But of course, these incidents are few and far between. This morning, it was interesting to see the investigators that arrived. Obviously, the forensic police arrived, also a homicide group from the police force, but also officers from Madrid's provincial information brigade arrived, and that suggests that they're investigating the political dimension of the crime. So, no, I don't think people in Pozuelo de Alarcón are going to be worried about some sort of crime wave or regular incidents of this type. But to have 2 in the same neighbourhood outside schools in the space of about 7 years is obviously pretty concerning.
Simon Hunter, freelance journalist in Madrid. Really interesting to talk to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.